This video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 reality transurfing techniques that work like magic. These are going to be techniques that you can apply in your daily life, things that as you do, you will start to notice that you begin to resonate with what you want to experience in a very powerful way. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 reality transurfing techniques that I think can totally change your life when you start to use them. So first, before I get to the video, what I like to do is give a little general overview of reality transurfing just to help wire it in and understanding the process, and also in case you haven't heard of it before. So reality transurfing, I believe, is one of the most powerful processes that you can use for manifesting what you want. And even more than just a process for manifestation, it's a philosophy, it's a way for seeing the world that integrates that of quantum physics or metaphysics with that of the law of attraction and what in the Western world we understand is creating our own reality. And then that of, well, as Eastern philosophy, so letting go, the power of balancing out the energy, and all of these things together help correlate and help us to create what we want in a powerful way. Now, the part of reality transurfing that we can begin to understand in reality transurfing, in a way, means gliding through what is called the space of variations, gliding through the infinite parallel realities that exist. And when you learn how to do this, manifestation becomes so much easier, because under the old way of thinking about it, it's this is where I am, this is where I want to go, and I got to try really hard to get there. That's normally what is implied with that we are trying and intending to create our reality. So more so than that, it's about knowing that the reality we want to experience right now already exists, because there's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. So the question is not how can I create something to go over here and to have something in my life. It's more so how can I resonate with what I want to experience, because the outside world is a reflection of who I am and how I feel on the inside. So as we begin to see it from this perspective, the questions then begin to change. We then start to focus more on how we can resonate with what we want versus how can we get something that we don't currently have. So this is honestly also a totally new paradigm for manifesting. This is a paradigm of understanding it, that we can embody the emotions now. We can know that since that reality exists, it's more about shifting through it, and we can make it so much easier than it has ever been before. Now, there's a couple key ideas of reality transurfing I'll share real quick. One is that of pendulums. The idea of a pendulum is a metaphor for understanding thought structures. So in general, we could consider this social conditioning. The social conditioning and the thought structure around being Republican, being Democrat, being for a certain sports team, being against a certain sports team. There are pendulums around different people. There's pendulums around the president. There is that of thought structures around any public figure, really. Any YouTube channel, there's going to be a pendulum around. And this is because there's multiple people focused on one thing. And anytime our thoughts begin to link up, it then begins to create a thought structure. Now, many times we think that we're having our own thoughts, when in actuality, we're also having the thoughts of these pendulums. So you may say, oh yes, I am Republican, I am Democrat, this is who I am. And you may feel triggered when you see certain things, but you see there's also a lot of other people that have thought a similar thing and then also felt a certain emotion when thinking about that thing. So there's a certain momentum around that thought structure, which means you may be linking up your energy to it, thinking they're your thoughts, when in actuality they may be the thoughts of what are called these pendulums. So the key to this is understanding that when we become aware of these thought structures, when we become aware of this pull to think a certain way, we can then become aware of it, observe it, and not let it have power over us. You see, many people, their lives are ran by pendulums. Their lives are ran by the social conditioning. They're listening to new music, which there's a pendulum around, and then they have all of these people they look up to, which may be stars or celebrities, that then they completely kind of give all of their power away to. The key is to, instead of be more like a leaf in the wind, to be directing the sail of your own boat. Now, the way that you direct the sail of your own boat is with intention. Set the intention that you experience what you want. If you set more intentions in your life will begin to change in a very powerful way. Think of intention as the direction on that boat that puts you where you want to go. So there's two types of intention. There is inner intention, outer intention. Inner intention is our willpower. Outer intention is the adding value to other people. It's the understanding the whole collective consciousness and how we can fit in there, as well as having our inner intention, which is the intention of our ego, versus this larger intention. There's also, the last part I'll talk about before I get into the video, is that of importance. Anytime we make something important, we put it on a pedestal, and then we create potential, what's called excess potential. When we create excess potential, we open up room for things to then go wrong, because we're putting things in, we have resistance around something because we really want it to go a certain way. You may have noticed this anytime maybe you had somebody that you were attracted to, and if they weren't attracted back, or if you put them on a pedestal, then what happened is you may have felt resistance looking for that validation. They may have felt that, and they may have either not been attracted because they felt that, or circumstances just happened so it didn't happen. So the key is being aware of that importance. When you give things excess importance or excess meaning, you then create resistance around it. So the key is to see things as natural for you. It is natural for you to talk to someone you're attracted to. It is natural for you to be able to achieve what you want. It is natural for you to be achieving your goals in general, because it's a part of who you are. So that, in a nutshell, is that of reality transurfing. And when it comes to the techniques, there's certain techniques that are very powerful. And the first one I'll talk about is one of the most common. It's called a slide. This technique comes with the understanding that what you want to experience, the ideal reality that you want to experience, already exists. There is a version of you doing exactly what you want to be doing. There's a version of you that is out there with a significant other, that's the person of your dreams. There's a version of you that is also doing what you love for a living, that's living a very abundant lifestyle. And the key to connecting to this version of you is beginning to resonate with it. And an easy way to resonate with it is by creating what is called a slide. So literally what you are doing is, in the present moment that you use a slide, the slide technique, you are then resonating with that version of you and bringing more of those characteristics into your current life stream. So with that, what you can begin to do in order to do the slide technique is, what you do is you imagine through your own eyes, as if you were looking out, you're visualizing, and what you're doing is you're imagining a specific scenario that to you would represent you being and doing what you love for a living. In one scenario, this isn't a general thing like, oh, well, you know, I'm abundant and I live in a nice house and I work here for a living. One scenario that represents that. So for example, for me, my intention, my slide, is that of me speaking in front of 1,000 people. I don't view myself as me on stage and this is the people. I view myself as I'm looking out at the crowd, I can see that they're happy to be there. I can see that they're excited to learn something new. I can see that they are people that love my work and love what I do. I can see that after that scenario, maybe I go to a nice restaurant, that I'm traveling the world and doing what I love, that I'm able to make videos in exotic places. You see that, like, that's one scenario for me. Like, what would that day look like? As I look through my own eyes of that happening, because that version of me exists right now, just simply at a different frequency, then what I begin to do is I begin to embody those characteristics. Now, this is the important part of the slide. Sometimes people will forget. With reality transurfing, the key is to be yourself, first off. Also, it's to connect with your heart. The thing that so many people miss in the whole manifestation process is this connection to the heart. And the heart is thousands of times more powerful than that of the head. So when you focus on the slide, what you want to do is you want to focus on the feeling that comes from your heart space as you focus through the slide. Think of a slide as a layer of reality that you're looking into. You remember those things as kids that maybe you had? Depends, I guess, on when you were born. But you had those things and you could click it right here and you'd see something else, and then you would see something else, you'd see something else. You would see maybe a picture of the Eiffel Tower, and then you would do it again and you would see a picture of the dinosaurs or something, and you'd do it again and you'd see something else. Think of that as a slide. You're looking through that, but you're seeing the ideal reality of you being where you want to be, doing what you want to be doing. Now here's the thing. The more you repetitiously look through that slide, the more you're going to bring that into your current life stream. The more you are going to shift yourself to that parallel reality. But you must do it from this connection to your heart center. Because the mind only gets you so far. When you connect your heart center in with that, that's where the power is. So it's about having that intention, feeling that emotion, and doing that throughout the day. So I'd recommend doing that 5 or 6 times a day minimum. The reason I say that is because the more you repetitiously do it, the more your brain is going to begin to believe it and bring those characteristics into play. But remember, it's not just the idea of the thoughts of the actual image in your mind, it's the emotion that it makes you feel. Focus on the emotion. What would it feel like? Do that right now. Just imagine, what is one ideal reality of what you'd want to experience? One scenario. Could be you at the beach with a significant other. Could be you doing some type of event that represents the accumulation of you doing this. Ceremony or something like that. Imagine what that is. And don't just imagine it as if you're looking at it. You're looking through your own eyes. You're seeing what you would see. And focus on the emotion in your heart. And notice the emotion in your heart, this buzzing sensation, because that's what you're really meant to be doing. And as you do that, you can begin to connect to your heart center more and feel this emotion. One of the most underrated things for me for so long was this understanding of how when I connect to my heart, things happen even easier. Connect to my heart versus just the head. The head, the ego wants to do everything. The ego wants to control everything. But let go. That's the other part of reality transurfing. It's about letting go and understanding that what we want already exists, so we don't have to try so hard. So this, I think, is one of the most powerful ways that we can start to literally shift to the parallel reality version of us that already exists in what is called the alternative space, which is just the infinite number of parallel realities that exist. So the second technique I want to share has to do with something called frailing. F-R-A-I-L-I-N-G. I think that's how it's spelled. Frailing is this understanding that we are all connected, that there's this collective consciousness. Now, when we are just focused on our layer of our world, the way that we see reality, what we want to experience, our ego's desires, when we're only focused on that, we leave out a whole larger picture. Now, there is a system, there is a, what word do I want to use? There is a collective consciousness that we are a part of. And when we link up our inner intention with that of what is called outer intention, what is called everything else that we experience versus just our ego, then what we do is we start to become part of something that creates a win-win in society. Now, you can relate this to, if you've ever read the book called no, not that book. I quote that book a lot. If you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he's talked in his book, or wrote in his book, that what you want to do is think of a goal and think of what you are willing to give in exchange for the goal. So you could say, I'm going to become a great, one of the top salespeople for my company, and in exchange, I'm going to give the best service I could possibly imagine that's going to help a lot of people increase their emotional state of being. That's an analogy, or that's an example. So what we could do is we could see that that then creates a win-win, because then what you're doing is you are helping other people, and what you're putting out can then come back at you. Now, when it comes to this understanding of frailing, what you want to do is you want to get rid of the intention to get, and you want to give away that which you want to get. So you want to give that which you want. And as you give that emotion, as you give that thing, that will come back to you anyways. Now, this is a game changer. I used to work, before I did YouTube full time, it's about 1.5 years ago, or a year ago. What I would do is I worked a sales commission job selling women's shoes. I only got paid a percentage of what I sold. I noticed a direct correlation between when I would go in trying to make my own paycheck to when I would go into work and I would have this intention of adding value to other people. I would do much, much better when my intention was to add value to people, because I was creating a win-win. A natural side effect of me helping people is making money. A natural side effect of feeling in a good vibration, feeling good and having fun, is making more money. So this is what there is. There's an inner intention that we have, and there's inner intentions of everyone else on the planet. when we help to solve other people's either problems, or we don't want to become attached to them, but when we are adding value to other people in general, we're making a win-win scenario. So one reason I believe my YouTube channel has grown so quickly over the last year, because a year ago we had less than 20,000 subscribers, or maybe it was like 40,000, but a year ago it was much smaller than it is. Now, what happened is I had this intention, this understanding that the more value I add to other people, the more value I add to the people that watch my videos, the more that comes back to me because I'm putting good out there. And people are interested in stuff that adds value to them. So I had that intention, and things began to exponentially grow because I was linking my intention up with the inner intention of other people. The inner intention of other people is to grow, to have more awareness, to learn these personal development ideas, to create what they want in their life. I knew that that's what people wanted to do, so I asked myself, how can I add more value to everybody? How can I add more value? And as I started to do that, everything started to explode. That's why I'm a big proponent of adding value first and foremost, and then all the abundance comes anyways. That's kind of the philosophy I live by, and it seems to work. Because the more good I put out there, is with this awareness that at a deeper level, we're all connected. So the good I put out there comes back to me because we're all one. It's a deeper idea, I know that. It's getting deep. But nonetheless, that's what frailing is. So find ways that you could add value with what you do. And it may just be a small little tweak. Maybe you make art for a living, and you can do it because you love to do it and it puts you in a flow state, but realize also your art's impacting people. If it makes people feel a certain way, then you are helping to raise the consciousness of the person. You're helping to make them see things from another point of view. If you're an athlete, for example, maybe as an athlete, you're able to inspire other people of what they can achieve. You're able to have a positive influence on the people around you. You're able to make them feel a certain way. You see, there's different perspectives, but you don't have to just constantly think of that. It's not like you're drawing or you're painting and you're like, oh, this could add so much value to people, but you're in the flow state and you just have this general awareness that it does add value. It's in the background. So try this for yourself and see how it works, because I believe it is so powerful. Adding value and linking up your intention with the inner intention of other people it's what the system, you call it the system, you call it the universal consciousness, whatever you want. It wants it because it wants you to add value, because what's good for someone else is creating this wave of something that's better for everybody. So this is something I believe you can begin to really tap into. Now, the third technique is one of my favorites. It's called creating a wave of success. A wave of success is something that you can create when what you are doing is you are giving things and understanding the nature of events in your life. So a wave of success is a momentum. A wave of success is when you focus on something and it increases your state of being, you then are constantly shifting yourself to new what are called life tracks or parallel realities that are resonant with that state of being and with that emotion and with that focus. So when something happens in your life, there's always three main perspectives. There's a negative perspective, a neutral perspective, and a positive perspective. Now, a wave of success is when something happens, you give it a positive perspective, you feel good, and then with the next thing that happens, you give that a positive effect. And then you feel good, and then it just keeps going positive, 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 positive. The moment something happens, they throw a wrench in your plans or something, you give something a negative meaning, is the moment you go from this to positive, then you give it a negative meaning, you then start to go to a different life track. You start to go to where you get the negative benefits of the life track. Everything in your life is fundamentally neutral. Has no built-in meaning other than the meaning you give it. If you lose a job, that's not a negative thing. From a certain perspective, it can be, but that's a choice. So the key is understanding that losing the job could be your ticket to finding out what you actually love doing. Your ticket to go into a job you even love more. Your ticket to start your own business. Do you see what I mean? This is all about perspective. And if you choose to give it a positive meaning, you shift to more and more representations of what you really want to experience. So this wave of success is about focus and knowing that everything is a part of the process. Because as you know everything's a part of the process, you can continue to go positive, 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 positive. It's a part of the process. Think of positive as something you can integrate and negative as something that is separating, disconnective. Anytime you say something's not meant to be in your life, you feel disconnected from the source of your life events, the stream of your life, of where you're going. So realize also that everything in your life is a form of choice. When you start to really embody this level of choice, everything is a choice. Treat everything in your life as a choice, because if you treat it as if you chose it, you then increase your state of being, and you then are shifting to more and more parallel realities of what you want. So this is an absolute game changer. Now, another thing I've done is I've created a free meditation that will show you how to link up with this best version of you by decreasing importance of what you're giving towards your manifestations, and also linking up the representation of the best version of you and connecting to that feeling from the level of the heart. Now, that's something that is absolutely free. You can download it in the top of the description box below, and it will help you to do just that, to connect with this version of you. Because understand that beyond that of the mind, this is about connecting to our heart in a completely new way. And when we begin to do it from this spot, everything in our life will begin to change. So remember, these techniques are very powerful. Use them consistently and you will begin to see results. Remember, we have that of the slide. Using the slide by picturing exactly what we want, feeling the emotion of it, doing that multiple times a day. We have the understanding of frailing. Frailing, which is that of adding value to other people, linking up your intention with the inner intentions of others, of adding value. As you do that, you create a win-win scenario for the collective consciousness, and it almost wants to happen through you. And then thirdly, the wave of success. The wave of success is giving positive things meaning, feeling an increased state of being, and continue to go in the momentum of whatever that is. So also, I'm going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to ask me questions, if you want to become a part and see, I have IGTV episodes that are native content as well, the separate content than what I create on YouTube. So you can follow me there too. We do live meditations. We do things like I do lives every now and then. So you can follow me there as well. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so that you can see my daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.